Brilliance Audio.
Feral. Losing Myself and Finding My Way in America's National Parks by Emily Pennington. Performed by the author. The next day, I drove. I drove back across Eastern California and its collage of dusty sameness. I drove through the Inland Empire, a sprawling mess spilling out of Los Angeles. I drove past familiar streets and palm trees, ultimately landing back at my own front door. But somehow, home felt different. The promise of domestic stability had been severed from me, at least for a while, and I began to hover above my former life like some detached, free-floating entity. The next night, Adam threw me a formal going-away party, though I'd already left, and I wandered through the space repeating practiced anecdotes about what it means to be a woman alone in the wild, and how I planned to use my spiritual practice to stare down the anxiety monsters when they inevitably arose. But part of me was still out on the road, and I was eager to rejoin it. I woke early the following morning and sped out of the city on a smog-scented ribbon of highway. The plan was to meet my friend Cameron in the mountains just out of town and caravan 5 hours north to Pinnacles National Park for 2 days of hiking and rock climbing. By the time I caught up to him at Pyramid Lake, he looked like he could cry at any moment. "You okay?" I asked. Though he was always a little dark and sardonic, the kid was going through a lot, I knew, even by his standards. He'd been struggling with a potential breakup and a dying father way out on the East Coast. Yeah, it's good to see you. I need a hug. I pulled him in close for a good 30 seconds before we untangled and commenced with the long drive north, me and Gizmo and him following in his own van. Central California walloped me with its developed agriculture. All irrigated tracts, political dust bowl billboards, and fields full of cattle ready for slaughter. Getting gas in Coalinga reminded me how so much of the country lives. Fried food, dented pickups, and trailers housing produce pickers etched like bricks into the town's center. Los Angeles' maze of organic grocers and vegan gelaterias is not the status quo. We entered the park under the black of night and snuck into a campsite without paying, since we couldn't find the fee station in the darkness. The cold turned my fingers white and my nose numb, and before long I retired to my wool blanket and heated mattress pad to rest. "So the climb we want to do is over here." Cameron pointed to his map in the brilliant morning light as I sipped my coffee groggily. "Guess what side of the park we're on?" he asked. The exact opposite side?" "Yeah." Fuck. Are we going to hike the extra miles with the rope and all of our gear? I whined, already regretting our decision to go climbing. "Yep." "Okay, fine." We wandered around camp, waiting for the sun to rise and the temperature to get above a goosebump-inducing 45 degrees. Rock climbing with numb fingers and toes is a surefire way to either fall, second-guess every move you make, curse the day you were born, or all three simultaneously. So, we waited. When it was time to go, Cameron coiled up his rope, counted his carabiners and quick draws, and clipped his climbing shoes to the outside of his bag, while I made peanut butter sandwiches and laced up my hiking boots. We stomped our way across the park, paralleling a gently burbling creek, scrambling down into the maw of Balcony's Cave, and hiking up and into the pinnacles themselves, towering spires of lichen-encrusted rock that soared above us.